Okay, hello guys. We're going to give my lovely face a rest, and we're going to go ahead and begin with our spreadsheet just so we can get comfortable with it, take a look at it. I do realize creating it is a bit more fun than maybe referencing it. I was having just the grandest time and I talked it up immensely, but hopefully you can share in some of that joy in taking a look at, visually where everything is laid out. As I had mentioned, these expanses, right, these sons of Noah, actually stretch such a great expanse. As you can kind of preview here, let me just move out a little bit. We have Noah, and his sons are going to be in this orange-tinted generation here. We can't even see them because they've stretched so far across every end and every corner of the earth. That is their descendants, right? So that's why we're going to have to go back. Look at the column we're on, HC. So we are already, if we were to repeat the alphabet from A through Z and then start from BA, BB, BC, we are already on HC. So all the way up until H, we're starting that. That's just the amount that we've covered basically in this sheet. So it's going to be quite exhausting, but let me just start here. We have this quote to start us off. It says, "Leave the truth to the police and us. We know the good. We build the perfect city. Time shall never alter. Our law shall guard you always like a cirque of mountains." This is Auden again, okay? And we can take a look at this quote. It makes actually some good similarity to what we're talking about. It says, "Leave the truth to the police and us." And we can move away from the police as the subject. We can kind of make that the government, right? Leave the truth to the government and us. We know the good. We build the perfect city. So it is not without the government that we have record of all these individuals that are listed. Okay, starting from the line of about Noah's sons, we have all of the sons of Abraham and his wives, and this all wouldn't be possible with the census that first started back in Leviticus, when Moses actually employed, members of the tribes to go ahead and take the census of all the Israelites. This wouldn't have happened with the proper record taking and the accurate record taking that existed at that time, even from Adam. Mind you, Adam had many more sons than just Seth, okay? This is just the line that goes directly to Noah, and we'll mention soon why it's only going to be this line that is recorded in Chronicles. But Adam had many more sons, okay? The record keeping existed all the way since Adam. Because Adam and Eve had so many children, it's bound, everybody had to be kept track of. Adam lived almost 900 years up to the time of, I want to say Noah, but I think it was Methuselah, somebody. He lived a very, very long time, so he was alive long enough to see all these future generations and their children. So yes, he was there to reference, really as a live source, right? A live source, so everything could be well kept, and the stories of the garden, of the fall of man, could be well kept. That's why that story is so well known. That's why it is so prevalently recorded, not only in Christian context, not only in Jewish context, not only in Islamic context, but we also have very, very early, the first recorded book in ancient Chinese civilizations talks about the story of Adam and Eve and the garden and creation. That was written even before Noah had written Genesis. So just keep that in mind as we go and continue this lineage here today. So yes, leave the truth to the government and us. We know the good, we build the perfect city. So these lines, although it might seem unbelievable, how does the whole earth fill with just these three sons of Noah? Even though it seems unbelievable, it certainly did take place due to this careful, meticulous record keeping. We have that. We're able to witness this here today. So just keep an open mind as we go through this. So we're going to begin with Chronicles 1:1. It just hits the ground running. We have Adam, we have Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mehalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, down to Noah. And then we have the sons of Noah. So the reason why we did not fan out from Adam and Seth and all their children, because as we remember, Noah begins the flood. Okay, Noah is the start of the flood. So all of these generations that started from these individuals up here, they are no longer in existence. So we did not care to go ahead and extend and talk about all of their lineages. After the flood, they were no longer remaining on earth. Okay, by the time of the flood, Adam had deceased, and all these other individuals, their lineages, as important as they may have been, they no longer existed. So we did have this flood, okay? And that started with Noah. That's why all the generations after are going to be coated in this rainbow essence. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and look at the sons of Noah. We're going to have to go all the way back, as I had mentioned. We're going to start out with Shem. We're going to have to start out with Shem. And this is a good tool to use your Control F, to be quite honest. But Shem, right? We have Shem. We have Ham, and we have Japeth. These are going to spread out all the way across the spreadsheet. But starting with Shem, this is actually where our Asian population comes from, okay? A lot of our Asian population, very early on, before the Tower of Babel incident, a lot of Shem's descendants moved and migrated to Asia, okay, what is today Greater Asia, okay? All the way up here, we have the kind of epicenter of everything right around this area. People moved to Africa, and people moved to Asia. So Shem, think of our modern-day Asian descendants. You'd be surprised that, Noah and Abraham and the first people are more closely related to our modern-day Asian ancestors than any of us in the West would be. So that's just a tidbit there for you to sit on. But anyways, we move on from Shem, and we go all the way down. Let's just go ahead and Control F to save myself. Now we have Ham, right? This is going to be Africa and Eurasia. This is where these people moved on to over some time. Eurasia. Okay, and you can see the direct son of Ham. We have Cush, right? We have Cush. Cush had Nimrod, Seba, Havilah, Sabata, Rama, Sabetha, and Egypt, right? Cush was actually a brother of Egypt, really named Mizraim, but they renamed him Egypt because he's really the father of the first civilizations of Egypt. Keep in mind, Shem's family started their first civilization really before any of Egypt fully built up and became the amazing civilization that it is and was at the time. Okay, then we're going all the way down to put Canaan. Okay, we have all these people here. Let's go to Japeth. Okay, Japeth is Greece and Eurasia. So a lot of Greece and Eurasia stems from Japeth. Okay, and we'll get into more. We have Javan. He's an important person here. Let's go ahead and move on here. So it says, the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japeth. The sons of Japeth, we have Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshek, and Tiras. And then we have the sons of Javan, Elishah, Tarshish, the Kittites, and the Rodanites. So we're looking here. Right, we see that Kittites and the Rodanites. And, some of these sons, right, these individuals had, so many children, they started their own clan or their own tribe. Okay, that's where those ites come in. And then we also have the sons of Shem, Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. This is actually very important. So we go back to our Asian ancestors. We have Arphaxad. I don't know if I'm saying that completely right. Shem. Oh. Let's go back to the original, please. Shem. There we go. Okay, so we have Elam. And so this, I know it's a little bit hard to read, but this is going down, right? Anything directly under, that's his direct son. Okay, and then it goes to the right, all the other sons. And the reason we have these gaps here is because some brother, sister had children, right, that filled up and had to, expand onward. Anyways, let's go down to Arphaxad. Okay, so from this line, very, very important. We have both Abraham and Sarah, and then we have Isaac, of course, right? We also have something very important from Arphaxad. We have Shelah, Eber, and Peleg. So he was named, actually, Peleg, over the divided earth. This was about the era. That we have the Tower of Babel incident. So that was actually a God an intervening moment that God had, where he split up everybody. They were all speaking the same language before Peleg, essentially. Before the Tower of Babel, everybody was able to understand each other. So God actually made different races and different languages, essentially. Really just the language, right? And because lots of them started to speak then different languages, that's why everybody had moved on and migrated to different ends of the earth. So this was that founding moment, that starting moment where people started to migrate. And it was not soon, it was soon after, 40 to 100 years after this Peleg individual, they're the Tower of Babel essentially, that the Asian civilizations began. The very first, right? We know ancient Chinese civilizations are the oldest, really, of all the earth. That's really when they started to flourish, right? Around this time, this divided earth time. Everybody else was spreading out. Everybody else had a few other things going on, but they were a bit smaller, not as grand as some of our ancient Asian civilizations. So again, we can kind of gather, how Abraham and Sarah are closer related to our modern day Asian ancestors than the people of the West and even Jewish individuals themselves. But we go on, right? We go on. Let's see what's next here. Sons of Aram, we have Uz, Hul, Gether, and Meshek. We have Arphaxad was the father of Shelah, and the father of Shelah, the father of Eber. The two sons born to Eber, one was named Peleg, because in this time the earth was divided. His brother was named Joktan. Okay, so we have from Shem to Arphaxad to Shelah, from Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah, and Abram, which is Abraham. Then we have the sons of Esau, Eliphaz, Reuel, Jeush, Jalam, Korah, and then the sons of Reuel, Nathan, Zerah, Shammah, Misa. And then it also talks about the kings who reigned in Edom before any Israelite king reigned. We have Bela, son of Beor, whose name is Dinhabah, and then we are discussing that line. When Hadad died, Samiah from Masrekah succeeded him as king. So it goes on. Okay, it goes on. Here's Esau here, his sons, Eliphaz and On. And then Eliphaz's sons, Tamar, Omar, Gatam, and it goes on. And then we also mentioned these kings, right? So it wasn't just Israel. As we remember, Israel and Judah wanted to be like everybody else. And so there were definitely kings founded very, very early on. So let's go here. Kings of Israel. Or excuse me, not Israel. What would it be? Edom. Rulers of Edom, I think that's what I have here. Yep, here we go. So the rulers of Edom, and I just kind of placed them here in a blank section. But we have Bela, son of Beor. He owned the city of Dinhabah. Jochbab, son of Zerah, from Borza. Husham, from Temanites. Hadad, son of Bedad, or they owned the city of Abith. Samlah, city of Maraka. So these are really the first foundations, right, of the, I guess you can say Israelite people, but they really were Semites, okay? They were from the line of Shem. Again, Abraham is from also the line of Shem. King David, the very first kings of Israel, are also from the line of Shem. So we could see how important this first son of Noah was, right, in starting really a lot of the civilization of most of the world. Very, very early on, beginning, okay? And just to give you a look, right, we start from the end of 10. I mean, if we count Noah, we have 10 going up to, I guess we can say about 40. So this is 40 generations worth of people just that we've talked about today. We go on here. Everybody so meticulously recorded. Here's David and all of his children. We get to Solomon. We see how much his line expanded, right? This is basically all the sons, right, of Judah and Israel. I already forget. Rehoboam. Let's look. Let's look. While we're here, Rehoboam, yeah, Judah. We have everybody listed here. Okay. But that's pretty much all I have for you. You see I filled this out much more than what we talked about. But again, that will be there for tomorrow. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have, you guys. I know it's a lot. Like, I was having more fun putting it together and discovering things than I am looking at it now. Just because, you know, each time, right, say, you know, Taman, right, or the sons of Eliphaz, I have to put in Taman, and then I had to add a column for each son. You know, each time somebody had a son, I had to add columns. So it really just stretched, you know, so far. And that, I mean, it's really a good representation of, you know, how much these three brothers, right, how much they influenced the shape of our civilizations, because it stretches, just, it goes on and on and on, just for, you know, 40 to 100 generations worth. It stretches across and around the world so many times. If we're just looking from A to Z, it goes much beyond A to Z, all the way up to I. That's crazy. Okay, well, that's all I'm going to give you guys today. You know, I put a little old map in here. This is one of the oldest maps created, but there are some representations of even older, you know, Pangea-like maps that were created much later than this one, but I was going to try to find them and take some pictures of it so you can see. But I'll leave you guys to this. You know, I have to get my day started, but I love you. Thank you for listening. I know it seems like a little bit dreary first thing in the morning, but it is interesting to hear and listen. Have a good day, you guys. Bye, bye, bye. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.